For quite a while now, southwestern part of Nigeria has been on the front page, most especially the Yoruba activist Sunday Ighoho, popularly known as Sunday Ighoho, who gave a 7-day ultimatum for Fulani Herdsmen to evacuate Oyo State in his bid to defend and protect Yorubas. His action has led other Southwesterners to follow the same thread. Recently, Femi Fani Kayode, the former Minister of Aviation, came out to say that the federal government of Nigeria has failed in its role to protect the life and property of people in Southwest, making people like Sunday Ighoho give a quick notice to Fulani Herdsmen. His comment on this issue has risen a lot of eyebrow as some Nigerians feel that what he said is capable of causing a war. Reuben Abati, a TV host, newspaper columnist, and Nigerian journalist, recently had an interview with Femi Fani Kayode, and he spoke on whether what he said is capable of setting Nigeria ablaze or not.
There's never at any point in time in my entire political career have I said all Fulanis are bad. And never have I and would I ever say that all Fulanis are criminals. Never. I cannot do that. I'm too enlightened and too advanced to do that. And I'm a believer in God. And I know that all men and women are children of God, regardless of faith. So I would never do that, and I've never done that. What I'm against are terrorists. And I say that anybody that is a terrorist, whether you're Fulani or you're not a Fulani, whatever you are, if you kill people with bombs, if you kidnap people, if you butcher people and cut their hearts out, if you take other people's land for yourself, rape their wives, kill their children in front of them, you are a terrorist. And I have no apology for labeling people that do that kind of thing as criminals and animals, regardless of their political, regardless of their religious faith, regardless of their tribe, and regardless of their political affiliation. They are all terrorists. Now, unfortunately for us, Mieti Allah speaks for these people. Unfortunately for us, they themselves call themselves Fulani Herdsmen. Unfortunately for us, they are predominantly Fulanis. And it was the most asinine thing anybody can do is to try to deny that fact and say that because they say they're Fulanis and because we want to be politically correct, we mustn't use that word. The overwhelming majority of Fulani people are not herdsmen. And not all herdsmen are terrorists, but we are referring to those that are terrorists. And you need to recognize the fact that you have a major problem in this country. Political correctness. You must address it for what it is. When we had the Niger Delta militants, we call them Niger Delta militants. And there was a discussion, their elders and their leaders accepted that what they were doing was dangerous for the country and reached out to them and reined them in. If only our northern leaders could do precisely the same thing and rein these people in. But no, what do you get instead? The presidency defends them. The government defends them. Everybody is scared of them. The police refuses to disarm them. And they are killing and killing and killing. And you say we should not identify them for what they are. That's wrong. I'm not against Fulanis. I'm not against anybody saying Fulanis should leave area. I love the Fulani people. And let me tell you something you may not know. 1/8 of the blood that is in my veins is Fulani blood. If you don't know this today. I cannot hate myself. And I'm proud to say that. People say, oh, why do you say? No, I'm proud to tell you the truth. That does not mean that I will tolerate or accept any form of terrorism from any kind of group, whether Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, or anything. We must fight it together. Good Fulanis, good Yorubas, good Nigerians must stand together, identify it for what it is, identify them for who they are, and fight it. So that's number one. Number two, you said about my rhetoric. Listen, I find that most of the time, I'm actually very restrained because the way I feel, I ought to be speaking in a far more vociferous, aggressive manner, given what is going on. Let me tell you the problem we all have. We don't empathize with the victims. We don't empathize. If, for example, God forbid, your whole family had been wiped out by Fulani terrorists or wiped out by Boko Haram or ISWA, wiped out, every single one of them, you would not be saying, oh, we should be more careful with what we say. Emotions come into this. And I think I've been very, very restrained in many ways. And what I've tried to do is sensitize people to the truth. Now, if that truth is something that ignites them, ignites their passions, then so be it. But one thing I will never do is encourage violence. I'm against violence. I'm against people taking the law into their own hands. I'm against killing other people. The only time I could condone violence is if it's in self-defense. Outside of that, I condemn violence, and I would be the last to incite anybody. But to speak out for the oppressed, to speak out for the voiceless, and to speak out for those that cannot speak out for us, and the victims of these atrocities, I will continue to do until the day that I die without any apology whatsoever. If the government was doing what it ought to do, we won't have this situation. If the government exhibited 10% of the passion that people like myself and others, including Reuben has written many times on these things that have been going on in this country. If all of us, if the government was doing all these things, we wouldn't have to say these things. But we're a situation where people are being slaughtered on a daily basis, and we're being told to just live with it and keep our mouths shut. And you as a government are not disarming the terrorists. You're doing nothing to defend us. And when we complain or defend ourselves, we mustn't do that. You tell us we mustn't do that. There's something fundamentally wrong. And I think you should thank God that we have people, not just me, but so many others that are speaking out and saying, enough is enough. And I'll continue to do that.
Well,
country for now. I mean, it's politically correct to say we're against IPOB, but the truth is that you can't label IPOB terrorists when IPOB have not been killing people, and at the same time you're labeling those that kill people as not being terrorists. It just doesn't make sense. And people that are seeking for self-determination, how can you then turn and simply because they say they're calling for a referendum, you say they're terrorists and you kill them? That in itself is an act of terror, to be killing people simply for insisting on their constitutional rights. So there's a lot going on here, a lot of political correctness. We don't need it. We need truth. We must speak truth to power to make Nigeria a better place and make everybody feel part and parcel of this country. And that's our mission.
That's all for now. Thank you for staying with us. I remain Dayo Lujuwon.